Hello everyone. The last couple of videos I did featured two of my newer machines, my 301 and my 328. Rather than lead everyone to believe I was neglecting my older machines, today I decided to feature my 1939 201. This is a machine I converted to a treadle. Since making that video, the 201 has received a couple of upgrades. Firstly, it's been rehomed into a 1913 number 21 drawing room cabinet, and the cheesy purple rope has been retired. Next, its stitch regulator indicator plate has been upgraded to a chrome-plated indicator that was originally only an option on the introductory 1591s from 1930 and possibly 1931. You see, many of us who collect these old machines really like all that old stuff that was available back in those days. Treadles, odd decorative bits, wood thread spools. And that's why this video is here. You see, some of us would really prefer to go from this to this. When you buy an antique or vintage machine cabinet, there's always a good chance of scoring some exciting accessories like wood spools. A lot of times the thread on the wood spools is rotted and useless, but that doesn't mean that the wood spool itself is useless. The other day, the question was raised on Victorian Sweatshop about how people rewind thread on their old wood spools. There were plenty of options discussed. You could use a drill with a bit that the spool fits tight on and spin that. You could tape up the spindle on a sidewinder bobbin winder until the spool fits and spin that. Or you could even buy one of the Swedish hand crank spool winders off eBay. There's also really old antique spool winders. There's one on eBay right now that's going for a couple $100, I think. So personally, I've never rewound a spool. But the question kind of made me curious. How would I go about rewinding a wood spool with thread using only things I had within arm's reach of the sewing machine? So here's what I came up with. I grabbed the wood spool, Phillips screwdriver, 2 rubber bands, my embroidery scissors and a bobbin, and some Scotch tape. Putting it together, I wrapped one of the rubber bands around the shaft of the screwdriver, tight enough to stick to it, and then kept wrapping around to build it up so it also stick to the inside of the wooden spool. Then I worked the wooden spool onto it, twisting it to make sure it would get nice and snug and stay in place. Then I wrapped another rubber band a little bit further down the shaft, again tight on the shaft, going back and forth to build it up so it could act as a tire, and then tape the ends of it so that it would hold it steady. And then finally, for my bushings, I used my embroidery scissors and a bobbin. And total production time was probably a minute and a half. So let's take a look how it works. So it's not going to win any awards for being aesthetically pleasing or easy to use. It took a while to figure out the sweet spot to get it to spin. But for $0 and a minute or two of work to get it put together, it did what it was supposed to do. It spun thread onto an old wooden spool. So now whenever I feel like sewing with old wooden spools, I have an option without spending any money. So, hope it wasn't too painful to watch. Thanks for watching. Bye.